Let's turn our attention outside Nigeria. U.S. President Donald Trump has suspended intelligence sharing with Ukraine in addition to pausing military aid. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz says the U.S. is reviewing all aspects of their relationship. President Volodymyr Zelensky insists progress has been achieved in talks with the U.S. on a new meeting between the two countries' representatives. President Zelensky also says Ukraine is hoping to resume talks about EU membership. He mentions that he spoke with the prime ministers of the Netherlands, Portugal and Slovenia, as well as the German Chancellor earlier today. The White House correspondent, Voice of America, Anita Powell, joins me on the news at 7. Anita, thank you so much for joining us at this time. Let's start off really with the president's inaugural speech to Congress. Compared to 8 years ago, what are Americans saying?
Well, we've just seen the results of a new poll by CBS and YouGov saying that 76% of people who watched last night's speech, which was about 100 minutes long, making it one of Trump's longest speeches of this type, did approve of the speech. So that's pretty resounding approval, according to this one poll of people who watched the speech. As you may recall, it was a very lengthy speech, but he laid out his expansive views for swift change to both domestic and foreign policy. And it seems from the polls that Americans generally did support that.
And I know that some took exception really to the protest by some members of Congress, didn't they?
There's always a lot of chatter about what political activity in the chamber is considered respectful and what isn't. What was interesting is that I cannot recall a recent example of a congressman being ejected from the chamber, which is what we saw last night when Congressman Al Green of Texas was ejected about 7 minutes into the speech. So there's definitely, you could say, high emotions around this speech. We also had Congress people, mostly Democrats, holding up little signs while Trump was speaking that said fake or lies or Musk steals, things like that. They're referring, of course, to Elon Musk. But it was definitely, as Trump himself noted, a frosty reception from Democrats who were in the chamber last night.
All right, so let's talk about some of the policies coming in from Donald Trump. Since January 20, it's been one sanction after another. I mean, one tariff after another. And of course, Canada, China and Mexico are also not taking it lightly. Talk to us about how the tit for tat, if we may put it that way, is impacting the American system.
Well, it might be a little early to say exactly how tariffs are affecting the ordinary American consumer in Middle America. But we just heard some very strong words from Canada's leader, who, as Trump noticed when he fired back in an angry Truth Social post, is supposed to leave office soon. He took some digs at Justin Trudeau after he expressed concerns over these tariffs. But Trump appears to not be backing down. But I am just watching simultaneously to this live hit. I'm also just watching the White House press secretary speak at the podium at the White House. And she did say that there is a month of tariffs exemption for U.S. car makers. So that's a big one that's going to, affect a lot of American consumers, and there's going to be a 1-month pause on that. So it does look like there have been a few mitigating steps, but Trump's language remains really firm on this.
All right. And talking about Ukraine, following that interaction that he had with President Trump, very controversial meeting. Many have described it as that. But we're hearing also that the U.S. has now, ceased intelligence sharing with that country. What does this mean for, diplomatic ties between both countries, really?
I mean, this is a big deal. This is part of the other. I mean, this is part of the package. Trump, of course, I want to say 36 hours ago, suspended all aid to Ukraine. So this is just leveraging up the pressure on Ukraine to get them to the table for this mineral deal. That's what Trump is apparently trying to do. What is the effect of this going to be? Well, let's just not forget that U.S. intelligence was critical in tipping off the world, really, to President Putin's plans to invade. They highlighted his amassing of troops along the border between Belarus and Ukraine, and this was a key part of this war. Like, intelligence has been a fundamental pillar of this war. Meanwhile, Ukraine's president recently told U.S. media that they have credible intelligence that Russia is planning an attack. So this is a big deal.
All right, Anita. I really wish we had more time, but you've said some really great things tonight. Anita Powell is White House correspondent for the Voice of America. Thank you very much for your time on TVC News at 7.
Thank you.